Hey, what's going on? It's June here with Not a Random Pod. Yeah, how you say that? Not a Random Podcast. Yeah,
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 yeah.
not the random, not a random podcast. I'm here with my boy KMX and a guest. What's going on, guest? How you doing?
This your boy Micnificent here signing in. Just here and happy to be here. See what y'all got going on. Let's just get it popping. Let's see what y'all got up here.
That's what's up. That's what's up. KMX, you
Mhm.
good?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, man. You know KMX in these streets, baby. We out here. Glad to have the guest on. Good to see you, Magnificent.
It's
You know, go
it's
ahead.
good to be here, but let me just say, man, y'all getting me on here. Man, this podcast must have hit rock bottom, man. This is this
But
is this is the basement,
but you
man.
got to
Nowhere
bring
to
it to
go.
the top, though. You got to bring it up.
That's
That's
right.
what I'm here for, baby. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's what
here.
you're here for. You got to bring
Yeah,
it up.
To light a
Yeah,
match in here. We're gonna set it up.
yeah.
that's right. That's
An-
right.
Anybody see that Jaguars game?
Uh,
Man, oh man.
yeah. I caught mostly second half of that game.
I see you
It
saw
was
the good part. Because at
yeah, I
first
saw the good part
I
for
thought it was
Jacksonville.
over. Yeah, I thought it was over.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
thought we saw the birth of Trevor Lawrence becoming a top tier quarterback. He's shown that he can bring you back one of the
Mm.
best comebacks in NFL history. I saw the first quarter. They were down. I saw he threw 3 picks in the first quarter. I was like, man, get him out of here. They were done.
Or
Man,
the Chargers choke.
I'll
um,
s-
I
I'll
think
say that I think overall coaching had a lot to do with it,
Yeah.
and I think Jaguars just turned out to be the better team. Um, you know, if you're given 4 picks or 4 turnovers, and I think there may have been 5 in the first half, but at least 4 turnovers in the first half of a playoff game,
Was there a
you
fumble?
can't. I think it's possible. I have to look that up, but don't quote me on that one. But 4 interceptions. Most quarterbacks would go into a depression, you
Yeah.
know. And the fact that this kid came out second half, put up, or after the 4 picks anyway, came up, put up 4 touchdowns, led his team to victory. I mean, that was amazing. You gotta I gotta tip my cap to this guy, Trevor Lawrence. He's the real deal. I
I
think
think
things will get better.
I think a lot of that also goes on the Chargers. They just didn't look like the Chargers that we're used to. The Chargers that can score with anybody. Maybe they're missing Williams over there because looking at it, your boy Herbert only threw 1 touchdown or whatever. They looked a little
Yeah.
sluggish over there. So
Yeah.
maybe did the Chargers choke this game away? Like they didn't come to play is the way I'm looking at it. We've been talking about Herbert being in that top echelon of quarterbacks, him being up there with the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, and all that. He just
Wait a minute.
didn't
Wait a
show
minute. I'm
up.
pausing you on that one. Who said he up there with Patrick Mahomes? Who said
I'm
that?
saying that. Everybody's saying that.
But Patrick
And we,
Mahomes?
I said in that upper echelon, the tier, these guys
Nah, I
are
think
the
that
guys that can get you to the game, the
I
big
think
dance.
that Patrick Mahomes would be like S plus tier, and he
Oh,
might be like
that's fair.
S tier.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
But
It ain't the
beneath
same tier.
him, I think beneath that, everybody's on a similar. You know what? I'll put Josh Allen up there with Mahomes too right now.
Uh,
I'll
have you
tell you
seen Patrick
this.
Mahomes lately? Have you?
Oh,
I
go ahead.
I know. I'm on him. This is
Yeah.
my brother's favorite team. I get a call every time he throw a touchdown. I get a text or something.
Oh
I get a
yeah.
big Mahomes. I get one of them.
That's
So
what it sounds
I'm
like
on
too.
it. That's exactly yeah.
It
He
sounds just
sent
like
me a little
that.
Absolutely.
video. It's crazy. But
You
K
know,
KMX, what do you got to say
yeah.
about
Yeah, just actually diving back into the game in general. I believe this might not be exact numbers, but it's close. In the second half of that game, the uh, the Chargers, they threw the ball 27 times and ran the ball 9 times. That right there tells me coaching. Coaching was, a key point there, because if you have a lead of that status,
You
man,
run the clock
you got to
out.
run the ball. You
Yeah.
have to run the
Agreed.
ball. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go back to the Atlanta Falcons and the Patriots. I think that was in the Super Bowl where they had that big comeback, came back and beat them. And you've seen them the amount of times they just kept throwing the ball, throwing the ball, throwing the ball, throwing the ball instead of running the clock out, trying to get this game over with.
Yeah.
You have to seal the deal. I
Yeah.
think this puts their coach on a hot seat, actually.
this might be is this the biggest choke job in history there?
No, it's
Was
first
this
round.
worse? Was this,
Wild card
I mean, the
weekend.
other
It can't be the
game was
biggest
in the
choke.
Super Bowl, but on paper, was this worse than that?
I would say no, personally. It's a wild card, man. Come on,
It,
man. Yeah. I mean, did anybody think
it
that
Was
the
it
Chargers gonna win
27
the
to
chip?
0?
It was 27-0.
I want to. Yeah, it was 27-0. Yeah, but
Did anybody pick them to win the chip?
I still. No, they're not picked to win the chip. Neither one of the teams are picked to win the chip.
Yeah, so
No.
But I think the Super Bowl Atlanta Falcons might be the worst choke
But
job.
I think at that point in their career was Matt Ryan already on the decline there, so
I don't think
he
so.
was. I don't think he was looked at as highly touted as these young gunslingers that win this one.
At that point, Matt Ryan was considered a top 10 quarterback.
I think he was throwing
that
5,000
point in
yards
time.
back then.
How old was he then, though? He was 30
maybe
plus.
He might probably early 30s.
But
You know,
we got Herbert
right
at,
after that year, he was old.
25. Herbert,
Yeah,
25.
Yeah.
And so these guys are on the ascension. I'm thinking they're the next faces of the NFL. So I'm not sure in terms of like the choke job. Are we going to put that on youth or what here? Because he didn't deliver.
Who didn't deliver?
You said Herbert didn't deliver.
I mean,
I'll say
Herbert don't play defense.
I'll
though.
say, yeah, that's my thing. Like I said, I didn't think Herbert needed to throw the ball for them to win.
But how
You're
did they
giving
get there?
you're giving four turnovers, and only rushing the ball 9 times after you have those 4. You're 27-0, and you only ran the ball 9 times after that.
What got them to the playoffs, though? What got them there? They rode to the playoffs on the arm of Herbert, I would say.
Yeah.
You gotta go with the girl that took you to the dance, baby. You gotta do what you do best.
And I think that 27-0 had nothing to do with them losing. You know, like Herbert not throwing the ball well for them to lose. I think that was, like I said, it's coaching. It has to be coaching. You know, I mean, just putting myself in that position, if I'm the coach, I'm like, why would I need to continue to throw the ball and have risk chances of stopping the clock? Let's go ahead and run. We can run it down their throats. And and if they think if they want to stack the box for the run, we have a great quarterback, right? That's what we're thinking. We can put it over top. Keep the chains moving.
How many carries did Eckler have there? Let's take a look at that.
How many carries?
Yeah,
I know he didn't have more than 9 in the second half. I know that.
Let's see. He had a total of 13 carries.
Oh yeah, they tripping. They fucking up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, put that on the coach.
35 yards.
Let's get out of here. Put that on the coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, one thing I will say, I don't think that I saw the ascension or like I don't think that Trevor Lawrence, the only thing he showed me is that he has a short memory. That's the only thing this man showed me. In my personal opinion. Like, end of the day, he threw 4 picks in the beginning. It's like, the only thing he showed me had a short memory. You say what you want, but their defense know they had to throw the ball to get back in the game. So to allow that to happen, I think there's a lot of mistakes on the Charger side rather than a lot of big plays on the Jag side.
We're talking about a Jaguars team who was picking first here. Number 1 pick in the draft. Isn't that Trayvon Walker? This team, they got the most heralded quarterback recruit. Lawrence is one of the biggest recruits of all time. They got him. He was supposed to be their guy. So for this team to go from the bottom to beating a Chargers team that was seen as hot and on the upcoming, I think you have to say he's arrived. I think for him to carry that Jags team they don't have the best weapons over there at receiver.
Okay, all right, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Has Lamar Jackson arrived?
He's way past the ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been an MVP of this league.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So when I hear like you say like he's one of the biggest recruits ever, blah blah blah, and all that, really he just won 1 playoff game.
Well, it was his first playoff game.
Yeah, but he still just won 1 playoff game.
Yeah, it's his second year in the league, correct?
Yeah.
Second year.
We're not even going to count that year with Urban Meyer and that whole.
Look, Jesse, you got to count it. What do you mean you don't count?
Okay, so it's
like
third year.
He was on the field.
I mean, but look at how much different they look under a real coach versus. They went from worst to first. I mean, playoffs. They're beating teams.
He was on the field.
Like, man, I think you got to put some respect on that man's name.
I'm just saying.
Put some respect on Joey and the Sunshine Band's man's name.
He showed me he
looks like Joey Bats out there with the flowing locks.
But anything past that, man, he just. I don't know. We'll see.
All right.
Give that man some weapons. Let's get him some big time guys out there. He out there throwing Will Jones, Zay Jones, and
Marvin Jones was balling up there in Detroit with.
Let's get some. I need to get some clarification here, guys. This is this man's second year in the league.
What? Urban Meyer wasn't last year.
This is year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's how bad it was.
That's what I
It
said.
was last year.
That was last year?
Yes. Yes. That's the reason they picked number 1 to get the Walker kid again.
Yeah.
I didn't think that
This is his
Urban
second
Meyer
year in the
was
league.
last year. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
good.
for your quarterback to, go from the terrible, he didn't look too good at all last year.
Yeah.
I mean, I was looking like a bad
touchdowns,
pick.
17 interceptions.
He
It
was,
didn't look great.
yeah. And to come from that to what he's doing right now and just pulling games out of his back pocket, hey,
Yeah.
it's time to
Yeah.
start talking about him. Is all I'm saying. Like, hey, man, look over your shoulder, Herbert and Mahomes, all of y'all. He putting y'all on notice. I feel like.
Mahomes?
Whoa. We're not
Come on,
gonna
man.
go there.
Don't say Mahomes.
We're not hands with Mahomes.
Yeah, man.
Mahomes is in a class of his own.
You're right. My bad.
Yeah, he is, and I'm not even putting Josh Allen in that class with him. Nowhere. No. There's a second. He can go in second tier. I'll let him be in a second tier. But in that second tier, you also have Aaron Rodgers. You also have, I'm not putting Herbert there. Never really been a big fan. Not saying he's not a great quarterback, but
I'm not a huge
he's
fan
not
of just
that
Herbert
guy.
either. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm
not
a
a
huge
fan.
Herbert fan. I'm
Man,
a believer.
He doing the same
I
thing.
think-
He looks like an old Chargers quarterback, Phillip Rivers. Get to the playoffs, get here. You know what I mean?
No,
okay,
sir.
we'll just see what happens.
He'll get you.
He's
We'll
much
see what
more
happens.
athletic than that. Like,
I'm
this guy,
talking
can
about
be
results.
athletic,
I'm talking
but-
about results.
I think that's just because he's wearing the Chargers uniform.
Okay,
That's why I think that's about the only thing they have in common is that Chargers uniform. Like
We'll
we're
see.
talking about Herbert is a guy who had all the physical tools. He had the big arm.
He
He,
sure
could
does.
run. He ran a
Yeah.
little bit at Oregon and stuff like that. I think you
Right.
got to put Herbert,
But let's see
Joe
the results,
Burrow,
though.
all of them, maybe Aaron, all of them are right there in the same tier quarterback. If we want to say Mahomes is in his own, okay, cool. But these guys that are, clawing at their heels and stuff, they're all right there. The Herberts and Josh Allen, they're all right there together.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. I kind of look at Patrick Mahomes differently. Everybody thought when Tyreek Hill left that his stats were going to go down, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah, I didn't think that myself.
I kind of did.
Tyreek Hill's
Tyreek Hill is he run a 4.2. You ask me,
Yeah.
bro.
I didn't think that because just look at the situation. Yes, Tyreek Hill is fast. He's explosive and things of that nature. But if Kelsey wasn't giving me what he was giving me, what he looked like, did they help each other having both of them? Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes as the best quarterback to ever play.
And
Hey,
you can
Go
make a
through the
strong
mess.
case for that. You can make a strong. I'm not going to disagree with that.
So because in my mind, because of that, it's hard to say that these other dudes are same tier as him. That's just my opinion.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not. But if you're going to look at somebody like who can dethrone Mahomes, who can beat him in the Super Bowl, who can beat him in a playoff game, I think you have to think about that Chargers team and Justin Herbert. Like they're one of the threats over there. Against,
they just lost to the Jaguars.
That happened, but they've had some tight games too. Did you see any of the Chiefs and Chargers games?
But we're talking about the playoffs,
Yeah.
though.
We're talking about guys who can knock off the GOAT, guys who can knock off Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I ain't gonna say go. Right now, Brady's the
well,
GOAT,
yeah, I'll say this: if I'm looking at teams that could knock off the Chiefs, who could actually beat them in the playoff game, Chargers don't come to mind for me. I'd say the Buffalo Bills. They could.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say the Miami Dolphins with a healthy Tua. They could have gave them it would have been a dang race to 100.
Yeah.
It would have been that. But and maybe having the Baltimore Ravens, that rushing attack, and passing game with a healthy Lamar Jackson. It may be Burrow in the game. They have a solid defense also, and they can score points, by bunches. But I still don't think Herbert and that team is ready for that stage.
Let me cut in right here. Did y'all see that Chargers Chiefs games from early in the year? They were one. I think Herbert got hurt like on the last play. They were one Herbert drive away from winning that game. Like they can beat that team. He's right there. He's got the talent to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Phillip Rivers had the talent to beat a lot of people too.
Phillip Rivers is an all-time quarterback. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
But that's my exact point.
Okay,
Yeah.
Herbert. If we're saying Herbert's that too.
What I'm saying is Herbert. What I'm saying, he's getting the same results. I'm just talking about results right now. How you get there? Think about it like this: if everybody has a 20-year career in the NFL, let's say everybody does, but these group of people never win a chip. No matter how they played, no matter what you want to say, the results were the same.
I mean, I think that's going to be the results with most quarterbacks. You know, you can only have one champion every year, so
Right.
the odds are stacked against you. I mean,
Exactly.
we got Dan Marino as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's never won a ring.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback.
Never said that. I just said his results and Phillips' results are the same.
Results, yeah. Numbers do lie.
Results are the same.
Yeah. I think numbers lie all the time. Like, you can put up the most passing yards in an offense, but that could be the result of your offensive coordinator. You can't just put that on that one man, I feel like.
You won't put on the one man, but you got to execute the plays. You know, it's one thing to have a scheme and all that, but it's up to the players to execute. You're not going to get the numbers if the players don't execute. That's how I see it.
Well, I think we go into that same debate, like, would Jordan have won his rings without Pippen, you know? Like, yeah, you got a great player, but you got to surround that player with talent too. Like, you got to have some help for that, elite talent of yours.
Absolutely.
I'll give you that. Absolutely. Yeah. But, if greatness is measured differently for everyone, I think it's all relevant to the person, Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking that, I think that early on we give a lot of these quarterbacks, they used to come in. I just think of Aaron Rodgers. He sat on the bench for a couple of years and then they play. But now they come in. If they don't win, like I think about like Zach Wilson, and other in Fields and stuff like that. It's like, man, give these dudes a chance. If you don't produce something by year 2, get out of here.
I think the mentality has changed. Like back in the day, it was always you draft a young quarterback, you want him to sit 1-2 years and learn from a vet, But with the way these coaches are barely given like 2-3 years to get their job done,
coaches also,
you got to play now.
Yeah.
You get your guy, you got to win. Like, show me what you got. You got to show me the money immediately.
You have to implement your system as soon as possible and see if it works. Because if not,
you got to hit the ground running.
Yeah. And I think that right there is a reason why we don't have a lot of great teams in the NFL. If you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who've only had, I think, 3 coaches throughout their franchise history, that team is perennially a playoff team. Mm-hmm. They're going to be good. They might not be the best team, but they always have a shot. You look at, other teams like I'm going to use the Carolina Panthers, but I think they had a good thing going in the Cam Newton days. They had Ron Rivera. They had some consistencies. They didn't have to worry about looking over your shoulder. I'm just being honest.
You're getting personal.
No. I'm being honest about it. I'm saying that I don't believe when they got rid of Ron, I don't think that was the correct thing to do at the time. I think they should have stuck with what they had going.
I think
it kept your consistency, everything going. Because once you change it up, you bring a new coach in, it's just like anything else. He wants his own players. He has to have his own thing going.
System,
but you only have this much time to do it.
Yeah.
And through that time, name the starting quarterbacks for the Panthers.
Yeah.
The list is still growing.
I'm going to disagree. I think it was time for Ron to go on the grounds. I don't know how great a coach Ron was. We're looking at a guy who he lucked into 2 of the greatest players to play the game. Like, you drafted a Luke Kuechly, who's one of the greatest linebackers.
I need you to keep going. 2 of the greatest players to play the game.
Okay. And Cam Newton, we're going to put Cam Newton there or whatever. One of the greatest physical talents that the game has ever seen. I don't think we've ever seen a Russian quarterback of the caliber of Cam Newton. So having those 2 pieces right there, they pretty much, you get a little something around them, they can get you to the playoffs or whatever. They made Ron look a lot better of a coach than he was, I think.
Just touching on Cam Newton for a moment. Was he a outstanding talent? Yes, but I believe the things he did could have been done with a fullback. I'm sorry. The goal line carrying is beautiful. And all I'm just being honest. That's just my honest opinion. I believe a lot of that, especially with his situation, his injuries did come from being a big man, getting hit because he was labeled as a running quarterback.
Well, as an avid Panther fan, I'm going to cut you off. Cam Newton, his injuries didn't come from him being a rushing quarterback, him running. You're able to more protect yourself when you know the hit's coming, you're running the ball. Cam Newton got hit and hurt in the pocket. The Pittsburgh game, he got hit in the pocket. The shoulder injury occurred. He threw an interception or whatever. Kelvin Benjamin ran a lazy route. He tried to chase him down and he dove, and that's what he tore his shoulder up.
But what I'm saying is the fact that he got labeled a running quarterback, the referees treated him more as a running back than a quarterback. He did not get the calls that he rightfully deserved. And when you're labeled as that, he got treated as such. So when he got hit late, or things happened to him that was not happening to a Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees, that was the reason.
I still don't think that has anything to do with his talent and his ability being one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. Off of his physical ability, we're talking about that 2015 season is probably one of the best seasons we've ever seen in a quarterback. That was a magical year.
It was a great year. It was a
magical year. That's an MVP season.
Yeah. One great year.
I want to say that 2018 season, his numbers before the Pittsburgh game, before he got hurt, they were on pace to surpass that. So he was looking like
throwing
the
the
same
ball.
Kim.
He was throwing the ball better that year. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that happened, right? He got hurt. Mm-hmm. His whole body of work, he had one great year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what he had.
Hey,
one
you know
great
what
year.
though?
That doesn't get him the Hall of Fame.
I almost forgot about something. Yo, isn't tonight The Last of Us?
Absolutely. I'm very excited for that. Wait
a minute, hold on. So, Kurt, I know you all on it. So what you got? Mike, what you got, man? What you think about The Last of Us? You probably got The Last of Us like collector's edition joining the crib right now.
Nah, I mean, I was late to the PlayStation 3. I got the PlayStation 3 back in the day. I was an Xbox guy.
Oh man.
So
terrible.
yeah, God forbid, I'm done with that. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead. But moving on and moving to the PS3. There was so much hype behind this game, The Last of Us or whatever. Yeah. So I decided to pop it in. Let me see what it's about. So it looked like a zombie horror type game or whatever. But when you play it, I'm going to say it's one of the best story-driven games that I've ever seen in my life. This game, it immerses you in a world. You can feel the hopelessness in it and everything. This game has changed my perspective on gaming, on single-player games. We're talking
about...
Ask
a question?
Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. For someone, I'm an Xbox guy. I've never played this game, so I know nothing of the story, nothing of the lore, shall we say. What I'm gonna watch the show. What should I be looking for? What should I expect to see from this? Like what should grab me?
Well, you're putting in a situation where there's a pandemic, so it's not necessarily zombies per se. Say, the whole COVID thing, say this all went out of hand or something like that. And if you breathe in this gas, you get infected or whatever. And when you get infected, you become it looks like some zombie type shit. I ain't gonna lie, but it's some plants and mushrooms and shit growing out of their heads or whatever. But what happens is humanity is pretty much on the brink of disaster. You got the government's taking care of some people and most people are scavenging around for all supplies and things they need. And you come across this girl, Ellie, who's she's played by Bella Ramsey from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you've seen that, the little girl from Game of Thrones.
I know who you speak of.
Okay, yeah. So she takes the role of Ellie, who this girl, when they meet her, he's shipping her across the country. It's pretty much a cargo. He's doing a job. Well, they come to find out that she can't be infected by whatever this disease is or whatever. So she's
man, you're going too far, B.
Okay.
They might not say that yet.
Can we cut that?
No, you good. No, we good. Just man, cause that's part of the story.
Don't tell me the story. I was just wondering, is this an attention grabber? I mean, you speak as though the game was so immersive, you got attached to the characters.
Absolutely.
So with a situation like that, we've seen plenty of games and things of that nature get turned into movies and different shows, and a lot of times they fail because they're not as good as said game, or going from a movie to a game. They're never as good as the
for someone like you that hasn't played the game. you wouldn't even know if it's good as a game or not. So
Right.
I think the only thing they need to do for like like people who haven't actually played the game is just to make a good show that has the same narrative as the other show, because you have no idea what happened in the game, so you're not gonna know if it matches up or anything. So as long as they make a good show and it uses the same elements to like grab your attention, I think you'll be good to go. I think that it'll just be a good show for you. You won't be comparing it to like the game like me.
I think the difference is most games try to turn a great game into a good show or whatever. But The Last of Us isn't that. The Last of Us is a great game that focuses on the story driving the combat and everything. So people love The Last of Us for the story, not necessarily for the gameplay and mechanics. It's just a great story. So they want you to fall in love with these characters, to want to see more from them.
Yeah.
And HBO is pushing this show as its next big Game of Thrones. I think I read somewhere that this show costs more than the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, something like that. So
That's
they're
hard
putting
to
a
do.
big
That's hard
they're
to
putting
do.
a big budget. They're banking on this being their, Stranger Things or whatever. You open up any app, you open up TikTok, I'm seeing like advertisements for The Last of Us, commercials are everywhere like this. They're banking on this big.
So I've looked into it, but I don't remember this. Is it going to be like Netflix, where the whole show comes out tonight,
No.
or it's going to be weekly, kind of like Game of Thrones because it's on HBO?
It's going to be weekly. It's going to be
Okay.
weekly.
Matter of fact, how do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about dropping a whole season in one day versus having like building anticipation over the week?
So, as a consumer, I want mine all at once. Give me mine all at once. Let me sit down for the weekend, open up the whole bag of chips. Let me get mine all at once, But if I'm a company and I'm doing it, for profit, I want to string you along. I want to give you a little bit at a time, and have you talking about it for a longer period of time. I want this to be, the locker room talk, the break room. I want you to be talking about this every week. Excited for the next episode.
That's true. When they drop a full season like immediately, I think it ruins it for a lot of consumers who like to take their time with it. If let's say, we're speaking on what Micnificent said, he gets the whole thing, he sits down over a weekend, he watches the whole thing. Now all I'm seeing over social media is everything that's going to happen that I haven't seen yet. If I'm just watching it,
That's very
maybe
true.
an episode every other day. So I'd rather have it, give me one a week, baby. One a week will, do me just fine. It'll give me something to look forward to the next Sunday at 9.
I see both sides of it. I think that personally, for me, I like it to have it all at once, because at the end of the day, it's my option to watch all of it at once. I could just watch 2 episodes, or I could just I could just watch one a week. But me having that option is good. But at the same time, you're right. If you go to social media, people are going to post. You kind of gotta have to avoid it, because if not, then you might just be reading something and a spoiler jumps out at you like, man, I ain't even seen it yet, But I think that the once a week model, it also builds suspense. Like tomorrow, there'll be a whole bunch of people having given a review of the first episode, what they did, how they think the show will go, and things of that nature. But at the same time, what if the buzz isn't there? I don't know. I think sometimes the show doesn't get good until the second episode.
I do feel like the once a week model is an archaic model. Like it's when you had to watch on TV, you had to watch whatever's on. But people now have such short attention spans that they want to see what they want to see. And if I want to watch this every night for the next 2-3 days, then give it to me or whatever. Now, like I said, that's bad for you as a company, because you're gonna forget about it. Like, they're not gonna be talking about this 3 weeks from now. All the hype's gone. So, but for me, myself, and say you got a partner or a family member you want to watch this with, that's the best way to do it. Because while I have your attention, you sit here, you're focused on me.
Yeah. So, is everybody watching it tonight? Is that what
absolutely 9 p.m. Eastern?
All right. So, how about we make this deal? We'll come back and talk about it by next week. Let's see how we feel after that. And I especially want to know Cam Meg's opinion, because he doesn't know the game.
Absolutely.
I think that's definitely a good idea. Yeah.
Well, I
definitely
look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'd definitely like to come back and give an honest opinion of what I think, the first episode and everything he has going on. And also, it'd be great if we could have, just throwing it out there, maybe have a live streaming, and sit and watch like an episode together, and kind of have just like a live reaction to what's going on. And that'd be pretty cool also in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. Just from what I've heard from you guys, back when the game first came out, June, you were telling me about this game. When you played it and everything, you was telling me about it. I was like, man, this is a great game. Wow, I'm just immersed. I'm just so immersed. It's so immersive. You connect with the characters and everything, and I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully, you guys didn't build it up so much for me to go in with the negative attitude.
That's another bad
it's supposed to be this, and I'm like, it was okay, guys.
From what I'm seeing from early reviews, is everybody's saying it looks pretty good so far. Like this isn't the video game letdown. Is from what I'm hearing. So I'm optimistic, baby.
Yeah, of course it's not a zombie theme, but Walking Dead. Walking Dead was one that kind of gave you, you kind of got connected with the characters, and I was really sad to see some of them, get killed off or get bit by a zombie and things of that nature. So hopefully this grabs my attention like that did.
Yeah.
But also also, if it has several seasons, and hopefully it does, it seems like it's gonna be a great show. It doesn't get repetitive like The Walking Dead.
From what I'm hearing, they're gonna follow the games pretty heavily. So there's only 2 games out. So the first game might be completed this first season. So we're not gonna have a game.
That would be moving pretty fast. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're gonna go with the game's storyline. I don't believe they are. I really don't believe they are. Because
how
they have to dramatize things, right? They have to dramatize it,
Well, from what I was hearing, the guy who did this, he did Chernobyl and all that. He's looking at this like he doesn't want to stray too far away from the game. Of course, he's going to give you more because when you're playing a game like this, gameplay is a big part. It's taking up so much time of the game. But he wants to stay faithful to the artist's rendition of these characters. Like, we're going to get, mostly, just the game by itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Mostly. He said, I'm hearing they're going to stray a little bit. You're going to get some side character stuff here and there, but it's going to follow the game very heavily. Or you're going to piss fans off. Like, if you don't get them what they want to see, they're going to be mad.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm excited, and I think it's time to get prepared to watch it. I'm gonna go get me a little something to drink, a little food, and watch the rest of this football. And you guys ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we gonna get out of here. Good talking to you guys, and
always,
subscribe, all of that. I never really
no doubt
say that, but
absolutely.
All right, catch you guys later.
Take it easy.
Peace.
All right. Peace.